Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, RFK Refugees Podcast. Ted here, John is here, and I don't have time to ask you about your weekend, John. That's not how this is going to go because we have a very, very special guest joining us. You can see his name and number over there on the left-hand side of your screen. Moses Nyeman, future star for DC United. Moses, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get in right into 2021. I think we on the podcast we're kind of wondering. Obviously, 2020 was an interesting year. A lot of injuries. I think forced Ben and then Chad Ashton to sort of get some playing time, and to get some of the young players some playing time. And we were kind of wondering this season, what was going to happen in 2021. And Losada talked a lot about you and several other the young players. 2021 kind of entered the same deal, a lot of injuries, but you've really stepped up, and Losada's really shown that he trusts you. A lot of the team has sort of brought up how everybody's bought in to sort of what Losada's doing with the pressing, the attacking style. What is from your perspective? What has made Losada able to sort of buy in, especially when he seems to be demanding maybe a little bit more than previous DC United coaches have?
So you're asking what made us buy into his?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
I think for me personally, I would say it's his relationship with the players. I mean, I have a pretty good relationship with them, and whenever there's anything that's unclear, I always ask questions, and he's there to answer it. Also, being a recently formal player helps a little bit more too, because he was recently in our position, and he understands what it means to be a player, and it's not too far off from him. So everything we're going through right now, he can relate to, and it helps us a lot, especially for me, him being a midfielder and I'm being a midfielder as well. There's a lot that we have in common, but his leadership has also been very good. At least that's how I see it. He can be demanding sometimes, but I think it's the right way to go about what we're trying to accomplish. So
he called you out as the best player on the team, and after a couple of games, he called you out in the press conferences. Moses Nyeman's our best player right now. He's head and shoulders, and that's got to feel great as a player that's sort of getting into it's a new coach. B, you're trying to break your way in here. There was a lot of injuries, and you're getting a chance to start every game. So that had to. I don't know if you heard that. I don't know if you were told that or heard that on the press conference. But that has to feel good. Sort of have to really fill you with that confidence. Know that your new coach believes in you, recognizes your talent, and has given you those opportunities to go out there and show your stuff. Did you hear that when he said that, or was that relayed on to you by any chance?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah. It feels good.
Also,
it feels good, right?
to me. Yeah, it definitely feels great.
So obviously you have two. You're a homegrown signed directly to DC United, and you had sort of the we have two. It used to be just one with Bill Hamid, and now there's two. What I'll call the OG homegrowns of DC United, the sort of that first class that came through, Andy Nahar and Bill Hamid. How have they, have they, when you came to the club, ready, first signed, do they kind of help you through that? Is there a sort of a connection you felt with them that you all kind of, started out your careers playing for DC United?
Yes. I can't talk much about Andy because I recently just met him this year, but as for Bill, I used to be around the first team a lot, even when I was in the academy. So I talked to him for quite some times. When I would meet him, when I would see him in the gym or even on the pitch, I would talk to him. And even now, we still have some conversations about just playing together or being homegrown. And he's been a very good teammate, especially looking at it from a homegrown perspective. He set the standards for homegrowns with all his accomplishments as a player as well. So it's been good for me.
As far as being a player, when you were first signed that contract, I always interested in the question, what was the I don't know I don't know if I know the millennials we still watched the Wizard of Oz. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but the only thing I can come up with is the biggest. I'm not in Kansas anymore. What was sort of your when you got signed, you show up to practice, you play a game. What was your first moment where you're like, oh my goodness, this isn't like being on the U team anymore. I'm with full blown professionals. Was there a specific moment that you remember?
Uh, no, I think it's not that big of a moment that anyone else might think, but coming from the academy, it always seemed like a smooth path to professional. The academy always did a good job with young players coming through, and for me, one of those moments might be just coming to the stadium and dressed up and having to leave all cleaned up as well. Seems like very very professional in my eye, because you go to training at the academy field in your jersey and stuff, and go back home all sweaty. So
Yeah,
that
no,
seemed
no
like
more,
a
no
difference.
more. No more hopping in the mom's minivan after an academy game, right? There's none of that
Yeah,
anymore. It's all you got to look
yeah,
nice. You got to look fresh coming out of there. I can
yeah.
understand that.
I think you probably have a similar situation that Griffin does at the games. Whenever he's playing or in the 18, I always happen to see like 15 Yao jerseys all sort of walking together out. Obviously, family and friends. So as a local guy, as a kid who grew up here, who watched the team, played in the academy, as we already said, made your debut, and then now a major part of the team as you're starting a lot of games now. And now also the stadium is finally starting to fill up. You're able to have your friends and family watching you again. What's that feel like as a player to get that experience? A lot of people don't, right? You go into the draft, you get picked by whoever picks you, and sometimes it's a hometown team, but overwhelmingly opportunity, it's usually not. It's just some other place. Then you've got to make it your home. So, granted, you don't have a comparison because this is where you came up. But what's it like to have that opportunity to know that every home game you're going to have the people closest to you there watching you, and they don't have to get on a plane to go do it?
Uh, it feels extremely amazing. Just having that was the most recent game was my first time in the full stadium, and just in being part of the roster for that game was something special for me, because when I first signed the first few games, I think we had a full stadium, but I wasn't on the roster. I was still trying to find my way through, and I felt like I had finally, like probably finally made the team, like at that time, and just having the full stadium was something like a dream come through for me, and it was amazing. Just the most the best feeling ever. That's all I can say. Yeah.
So yeah, I was gonna ask your next question, what your best moment was for playing for DC United, but I guess that will take the cake, right? I was at that game. It was my first game back, and it was an absolutely raucous atmosphere. So I'll definitely I'll skip that question a little bit. But want to talk. Obviously, you've been highly touted on the Guardian. I think you were named like one of the top either 50 or 60 young players. All the way across the pond in England, you were getting recognized. You've made the 60-man roster, Greg Berhalter's provisional roster for the Gold Cup. Hey, I would love to see you there. I think you should be there, but I think maybe that's a little bit far in the future. But you've got a lot of other events coming up. U20 World Cup in 2023, I think you certainly will most certainly be on that roster. Have you had any contact from U.S. Soccer? Have they been in contact with you, talking about your future with the U.S. national team?
Uh, No, not as often that it would be when I was with the. Well, I am still with the youth team, but no, I haven't really talked to any of the staff from the first team yet.
So
But
opportunities
okay.
abound. That
Yeah,
just
opportunities
means that
abound.
they're
I'm
looking at you. That's the best thing they probably can tell you right now is that just keep doing your thing, and there's a path here if you want it. A couple questions for you before we wrap up. I want to thank you for taking the time. I think a question I always like to ask players, particularly young players. You probably watch a lot of soccer. I know. When I was growing up, and I think even still now, like I don't watch soccer now all the time, but I watched it even more before I had to have a job and I had to leave the house a lot. Who do you style yourself after? Like, who do you watch on a weekly basis and say, that is what I am trying to do? That's at the highest level. That's what I'm trying to get to. I think you're from a size perspective, from an age perspective, you're an outlier. I think for an MLS, you've got different size, you got different advantages because of that. You have a lower center of gravity. You're quick to the ball. But as you watch, probably particularly in Europe, like, is there a player that you see and you're like, yep, that's what I'm going for. That's what I think my skill set translates to on the highest level.
Um, let's say when I was in the academy and just a little bit before becoming a pro, I used to like watching Iniesta or De Bruyne, and just seeing how versatile De Bruyne is, being box to box midfielder, and he has everything. He can score, he can pass, he can dribble, and that's the kind of player I think I would want to be. What De Bruyne has is special. I mean, he's extremely gifted as well, and also the awareness of Iniesta, just combining those qualities as well. And recently, some of my teammates have been like calling me Conte or comparing me to Conte, and I think he's a really world class midfielder as well as the other two I just named. But I didn't watch him as much as I am right now, so I think those three guys are probably my target.
As a Chelsea fan, that may be what I picked up on sort of early on. I was thinking as far as your ability to pick a ball out from deep in the midfield, and also your ability to take on guys bigger than you and win the ball from them and keep control and make the and take pressure and move the ball along. That's obviously as a Chelsea fan, I watch him every week. So when I saw you, I'm like, that's a great skill set to bring into either MLS or anywhere else. So I saw that. But anyway, Moses, thank you for joining us. Great, congratulations so far on breaking into the team, getting those starts. Hope it keeps going for you. Hope the team continues to get points on the board. If we played Miami every week, we could go coast to coast, take 3 points every week. But we really do appreciate it. And for everybody who's watching, we are going to take a quick break, and then we will be right back with the rest of the show.
And welcome back in. Thank you so much to Moses Nyeman for joining the show. John, before we get in the show, we skipped over the weekend, but I hope you had a good week and hope you had a good Father's Day.
You hurt me so much, Ted. I figured, all this time you just throw me over for a professional soccer player who happens to be waiting there. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I know. It's so mad at me. So bad at me. But anyway,
we did have a good weekend.
Father's Day.
I had a great Father's Day. I went and saw a minor league baseball game with my daughter. For an inning and a half because she has won. So that is the amount of time that is reasonable to expect, and that's what I got.
If I did that, my father would think I was a horrible son for putting him through a baseball game. So I took him to a soccer game instead. So that was a smart move. I took my dad up. By the way, just before we get into the game, want to thank got to hang out with the District Ultras. I met Angus. A lot of great people. I had at least 2 or 3 people come up to me and say they love the show. So again, I appreciate the love I get from that show. It's definitely an ego booster for the show. And the Ultras tailgate was nice. I got a sweet Chico scarf with the old logo on it. It was really nice. And yeah, so it was a lot of fun. It was an absolutely just. I think I was texting with another friend from Richmond who drives up and we were kind of getting in the game and it was starting to fill in. I did bring my RFK Refugees scarf. I tried to hold it up to get it to notice too, but He says, John, I see doing that. But it was kind of looking like a middling crowd. I was like, oh, man. And then suddenly I forget how late arriving all these people are to DC United games. I'm pretty sure we got to like the 20th minute. I think some people were hopping from the Nats game, maybe. Like, so maybe the Nats game ran long. But I forget how like late arriving everyone is to these games. And so it was just kind of, it started to fill in, and then the game started, and DC hit off like a cannon, and that place was just into it. Everybody was into it. You had fans all around the board getting into the chants. It was pretty much, it was an awesome sight to see. It was so great to have full crowd in there. Kicker, I enjoy kickers games, but I sometimes forget what it's like to have like a huge stadium that's just rocking. And it was incredible amounts of fun. So hats off to the supporters groups. Hats off to all of them for doing an awesome job at making that place rock.
Looked great on TV.
It did, and it also sounded great, which we'll get into in a minute. Maybe some of the things that sounded great on the podcast. But let's talk about the game. DC United gets a 1-0 victory over Inter Miami. Game that
was a 1-0 going on 4-0 game. I think it was that's the way I describe it.
Let's talk about the game. So first, like 10-15 minutes, the game was absolutely just, DC were just on a tear. They were, I say about first 15 minutes, they were pressuring everything, and you almost felt like a goal was going to come, but it just never quite came. I'm watching from the stands, so I'm seeing different things. By the way, watching a Hernan Losada game live with the full press is a completely new experience than watching it on TV, because you get to see everything. You get to see, the center forwards push up, the wing players push up. And I think on a camera, you're kind of far back, so you can't really appreciate just how incredible it is, and how quick and how fast everything is, and how exciting it is, really. So yeah. But John, I was there at the game. I talked a lot. Give me what were some of your thoughts on the game? Drop them in on me.
Yeah, no, I think I think the biggest thing to point out for me was lack of clinical finishing. I think there were. Yeah. I think today Hernan did a press availability. I think he said that they looked at the tape and they said that they had 16 or 14 opportunities where they should have scored, and they scored one. There was, I think, Ola Kamara had probably 5 chances, 4 to 5 chances he should have buried, not counting the penalty. The penalty he buried with supreme confidence. He never has a problem with that. I think he's very, very good at penalties. So that's an attribute. I think his movement was good. I think the runs he made were good, but his finishing was just poor again. And the challenge here is that the wingbacks are playing exceedingly well. They are providing excellent service. So you cannot have the stopping point, your friction point on your team being the goal scorer, being the forward, because the balls are getting put there on a platter, and he's not finishing. It didn't hurt them this time because Inter Miami is not a cohesive unit at this moment. They left 7 of their 350 designated players at home to do conditioning and weren't there playing. By the way, the fact that Gonzalo Higuain did not come and play the week after he talked about the fact that he thought he would be able to smoke a cigarette while playing in MLS is interesting. I don't know if it was disciplinary. They said it was because of conditioning, but question mark there. But overall, I think before we get into the specifics, I think you could look at this team and say they are bought into the system. They're doing what they're asked. Their physical abilities are catching up to what the expectations are of them, and they're delivering. I'm interested in seeing this team play against a more complete unit now. I think they had a rougher schedule at the beginning of the year with New York City FC. I'm trying to think who else. And
Philly, Orlando.
Yeah. Philly. So those are the teams that you really got to measure yourself against. And I think now the team is healthy, and the team is understanding a little bit more of what's expected of them, and they're delivering. And I want to see them play those teams. Montreal would not count for me as one of those teams. So we'll see how Wednesday goes. But you want to get into the specifics?
Yeah, well, I mean, I did want to defend. I feel like I am. I feel like the May 29th game was kind of my he pulled me back into believing in Ola
This is
Kamara.
some sunk money fallacy situation.
Yes, I am going full steam ahead. Well, here's the thing. So the biggest problem we've had since Ola Kamara's comeback is that he hasn't been putting himself in those positions to score. He had a bad game. He got 2 goals in the last game against Miami and finished most of his chances that he had. He even had a great finish in that game. So he has that ability to do that. It wasn't coming together in this game. He kept his composure, buried the penalty, redeemed himself a little bit. Right now, I would just ask, and I know the analysis the DC needs to look to the transfer window. Right now, he's about the only option we have, and he's the only player. Perez, I thought, brought a lot of energy. There wasn't a whole lot I remember from this game from him actually doing. Certainly, he doesn't have that ability to sort of get into those positions that Ola does, and maybe that's just the nature of when Ola's out there. That's how they play. But I mean, right now, DC doesn't have another forward that can do what he does. So right now, I think he's the starter. Yeah, he's the starter. He has. Yes, he got the PK goal, but he put it away. He had the 2 goals against Miami. He is now leading the leading the team right now in goals. Right now, unless there's another option, unless Robertha steps up and becomes that option, who else do you have? Who else do you have on this team? That's
my question. How much of an indictment of that is on Nigel? And he's not played very much. He's not been healthy, but like you said, he did not look super impressive in this appearance. This is probably the longest appearance he's had since probably so far. He came on for injury in this. I think the second game.
He even had a moment to where he could have put the game away. There was a cross that came over the top. Kevin Paredes saves that off the line, and then Ola Kamara even does a bicycle kick to keep it in play, and it falls right for Nigel Robertha. And if he puts maybe even just 10% more power than he put on the ball, that's in the back of the net, and it's 2-0 DC. So Nigel Robertha even had an opportunity that he was unable to convert. And I would argue it was probably an easier opportunity than any of Ola Kamara's opportunities.
Well, he only got 1 though, so he's 0 for 1. Ola's 1 for 5.
But do you really? So let's talk about the header. The header Ola Kamara has. He gets in that position. He heads the ball. It goes off the post.
That's the best one he had. That wasn't a goal.
Yeah, that wasn't a goal. And then he tried to. The chip was a little bit audacious. I think if he just slots that side footed. Now it was called offside. I haven't.
But he doesn't
been able
know.
To really watch.
If forwards don't know that, I don't care. Like if they miss it and they don't know that they're offsides, I don't care. You gotta put it in the net. Have it not count. That's how this goes. You don't get saved.
Fair enough. Well, also, and I believe I have someone who watched the game. Who told me that he would have been onside and that might have been overturned via VAR. So I mean, yeah, there's always that chance with VAR now. Everything,
finish it.
There's always that opportunity that something can get overturned. So I hear what you're saying, and it's an indictment on. Maybe it is a bit of an indictment on the team. I think the fact that he's putting himself now in those positions because he wasn't doing that in all of 2020, or really a lot of 2019 when he was there. I want to see right now this team probably isn't going to do anything in the transfer window. He's got a full year to at least show what he's got. And the fact that he's putting himself in those positions, if he can just get the finishing down, then I think maybe there is something there. But he's got to do the finishing. That I'm not going to deny that. He's got to get the finishing down.
I think if he has more of these games, Hernan is going to pawn the furniture at Audi Field to afford a striker in the window. I think that it was visible in Hernan's face and in his answer about the missed opportunities. It would be one thing if the rest of the team wasn't firing on all cylinders. He cannot have that be the one thing they can't do. And I think Nigel will get a real run if Ola, Ola scored I think if Ola didn't score the penalty, it would be blinking red lights. If this was a 0-0 draw and there was no penalty scored and all those chances were missed, it would be warning signs all over the place. It was not, so you get the 3 points. Ola buys himself another week of people being like, all right, well, he'll score more. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And I think he will, honestly. You're right that he is in dangerous spots. I would say that being in the right spot is the bare minimum for the forward. I think the thing you get paid for is to put it in the net. So he's using his brain. He's running well. He's healthy. He's fit. All those things are good. Got to finish.
I just think now too, being in the right side, he's getting the right spot and he's getting the service that he wants. He may be in the right spots, but if he's not getting the service, who cares how good of a spot he's in if no one's finding him. And now the team you finally now have Kevin Paredes, who I watched the highlights again. I think my opinion of him in the first half was he's doing a good job running, but he wasn't dribbling at people. I felt sometimes he would just kind of show up and try to, and I'm just like, just go at him. I guarantee you, maybe it doesn't work, but you're going to look a lot better than if you try to like see if you can fake him out and then he's just going to take the ball from you. And then he had some good service. Also, Julian Gressel, I thought at the game was pretty rough. And then I saw some of the highlights, had some great service. It's finally starting to cue in that service. But obviously we have to talk about Andy Nahar, right? That's the next thing we got to talk about.
Yup.
If you want to talk anything about Kevin Paredes and Julian Gressel,
no, just I think that Paredes is now on the radar. I think being named to the Gold Cup roster is one thing, but Matt Doyle is talking about how he's made a reappraisal of Kevin Paredes as a left wing back as being one of the best in the league, best young left wing backs in the league. He has come. I still say he's up 80% to being a completely full form player. He's got such raw abilities and such great tools, and I think that as soon as he gets that little bit of composure in the bit of the end, then he is nails. And Julian Gressel had a great week, surely because he was on our podcast last week. He was on fire.
He was fine tuned. He was ready to show up.
And last note on Ola Kamara before we move on to Andy, my favorite subject in the universe. Eric agrees a little bit with Ted here, saying he thinks Ola caught 3 unlucky bounces, and while I do think that he's not the ideal striker we need crash in the box, I think he's better than he was on Saturday. Maybe so. Let's hope so. I think that's what we got to hope for. So, Andy Nahar, maybe Maradona, maybe I'm not even sure what run you could compare that to. You have it here in the notes. Looked like his 2011 self dribbling at opponents and taking on 4 players. The play was so good it got put to classical music. That is something, and got the slow-mo treatment. And I said that on Twitter.
It got the ESPN FC treatment. It got I think DC United has not had something like that probably since Wayne Rooney. Let's be serious. The type of viral treatment that it got. Let's be 100% serious here.
It was a move that warranted a YouTube comp with like really loud Central European techno music playing over it. Like that's what it required. But I think, all that stuff is great. And I think I wrote about this in the piece that I posted today on RFKRefugees.com. Make sure you bookmark it because I'm going to write all the time. You're seeing a player that's he's in his full confidence. He's confident that he's not going to get hurt again. He's confident that he has a coach that's going to give him an opportunity. It's not Bob Bradley. He says, I have a coach that cares about me as a player, believes in me from when I played in Belgium. He understood that I came here not fully fit. He gave me an opportunity to get better before I got on the field, and he's giving me opportunities to start. He's played, of the 9 games he's played in 7 of them and started 5 of them. No one in the entire universe thought that would be the number of games he had played in.
Well, let's not even talk about that. Let's talk about the fact that he is playing center back right now. He is playing as a center back. Like we talk about like versatility in players. We talk about, I don't think we've had a player come through DC United that has developed and changed as much as he has, and doing it in ways. I mean, maybe Ben Olsen. You might actually have a point there. But recent history. And he didn't spend all of his time at DC, but he started out, as an attacking winger. Won Rookie of the Year as 2010. Ben Olsen says, hey, you actually got a really good ability to get back, so we actually need you here at wing back. So he plays wing back, and he does an excellent job at that. A very good job. In fact, he goes to Anderlecht, and I'm pretty sure that became sort of his primary position, was sort of in that wing back position. And when he got here to DC, that's where we kind of thought he was going to land. He gets put in center back out of kind of necessity, and he also has some good defensive chops. And he almost brings both him and Donovan Pines and Brendan Heinzike. I am not sure the way that the Andy Nahar plays, you would have many coaches in this league that would put him in that position and basically give him an ability to push forward. And that's basically what he does. And it actually is incredibly effective because they are able to sort of relieve that pressure and sort of overload that middle. Everybody starts crashing the middle to try to get around him. He plays a ball out wide, and suddenly there's space out there. I really don't think Andy Nahar is getting enough love, not just for that. I think that performance might be his sort of coming out moment as far as this year goes, but the fact that he has been basically asked to play center back and has done a very good job at it, I think just shows the type of caliber player that he is. And why certain other people who doubted him and doubted why he should come here are eating a lot of crow tonight. And I will never let said people live that down.
That is a podcast sub. Those people understand that, and those people have publicly mea culpa. I think we'll be.
They have, but if people are going to drag me down for Ola, I'm going to drag them down for when they're wrong.
Fair.
That's
fair.
how this works.
I think it will be interesting to see what happens when Steve Birnbaum comes back. You've got to keep Andy in the field. Where are you gonna put him?
Yeah,
you can't take him off right now. So that'll be love to have a selection problem. That's the best thing you can have is where are you gonna put all these players who are playing well? You figure it out. That's what Ernon's paid to do. But I love it. I haven't been able to get to the team store at a game. I haven't been working yet. I will be getting Nahar's number on my back. It brings me joy to have a player who is from the already now the olden days, which is stupid.
Don't say that.
It's true. But I think it's fantastic, and I hope that it continues. I think he's proven people wrong. He's proven Bob Bradley wrong, and I think that he has a unique skill set of, like you say, there aren't a lot of guys playing center back that can make that run. Oh, wherever you put him on the field, he could do it all. So we'll move on. But Andy Nahar, congrats on a fantastic weekend. Donovan Pines, you called out that he was having a great game on Twitter during the game. Talk about him.
Yeah, so Donovan Pines, I mean, we've always talked about him. We always saw the skill set. I guess the most impressive thing is, and there was always he would always have those that one moment where things would go bad, and he was always due for one gimme as far as the other team, and you just had to hope it didn't resort in a goal. That's what you had hope for. You had hope for someone was there to clean it up or to cover it up. And I think, early this season, we saw maybe some signs that was going to continue, and I got a little worried for him. I don't know if it's being named the provisional roster kind of refocused him, but even in the past few games, he has cut down dramatically on his sort of moments. He had this game. He was literally just shutting down anytime Inter Miami developed anything close to an attack. He was there to kind of make the right step in. He was there to push the ball forward. I think James from DC UK remarked on his passing ability. I thought it was fine. I thought he was able to move the ball. It wasn't as clean or as crisp as maybe Andy Nahar or Brendan Hines-Like, but it was serviceable in sort of getting the ball out wide and sort of moving it. And I think I think that is something that is awesome to see, because again, it just creates more competition. I know it's against Miami, so maybe I should temper what I think it is, but I'm really not sure Steve Birnbaum steps into this team at this point. I don't know. You think he will?
I think he will. Based on.
Who do you bench? Who of the three do you bench right now? Brendan Hines-Like, Steve Birnbaum, Brendan Hines-Like, Donovan Pines, or Andy Nahar? Who do you bench?
Probably Donovan Pines.
You think so?
I think so. I think just from a like for like, I think that Nahar has like a pivot role that's good in this system that neither the other two of those do, and Donovan is more like, obviously has physical gifts differing than Steve, but as far as like play style, more similar.
What I will say is now. We have 5 capable center backs on this team: Andy Nahar, Fred Brilliant, Steve Birnbaum, Donovan Pines, and Brendan Hines-Like. We have 5 players that Antonio Alfaro as well. Jeez, it's been, he actually has sort of stepped back a little bit. I've almost forgotten a little bit. I almost forgot about Alfaro.
I'll never forget.
6. So we have 6 center backs. In case, I don't know if you looked at the schedule, there's going to be a lot of games that are going to be coming up in a lot of different times, and so DC is going to need that rotation. Yep. So that's going to be really critical. So I think that's the most important thing to sort of take away, is that that Pines has gone from maybe an emergency option. He'll do some good things, but he'll do some things that'll make you want to pull your hair out too. No, he's a solid option now. If we have one player that's not necessarily 100%, he can slot right in and literally you won't notice a difference. And that's incredibly, if you want to talk about a team that can surprise some people, maybe make a slightly deep playoff run, depth is key in MLS, especially if you're a team that's not going to spend the money, spend the big money on DPs and everything like that. So, yep.
Yes. True. You have some negatives here.
I do have some negatives. I think I already talked about Adrian Perez. I thought again, I think we're at the ceiling point with Adrian Perez, and I think the team has gotten, I think, just much better sort of around him. He still does some good dribbles and some good things, but I think there's starting to be some diminishing returns, I guess, with him. Other players are starting to become more impressive. I'm not sure if he's. I'm thinking he's maybe the player you look to bench, and maybe you bring on when Flores comes back. I think right now he's the first player I would look at for that.
I think that's probably true. I think I don't know. I mean, Hernan's a big fan, so he's going to give a lot of weight to the players that were there for him when the team was not fit. So I think I think you're probably right as you look at who makes way as Edison comes back. I don't think he's even close to in training yet. I think he's probably got another 2 weeks. So you got some time. It was funny. He in the press conference today, Hernan called out, we got to get some big players back. He said Steve, he said Edison, and then he said Drew. We got to get Drew back. And I was like, holy shit, man! That man has had a year and a half in the course of 3 months or 2 months or however long it's been. I think he's to get in that headspace in your coach so quickly is pretty awesome. But I do, Perez, Jonathan says I think he needs a goal and then the floodgates will open. I'm not sure that he's like a secret streaky scorer that just hasn't given his chance. I think he's a spark plug, and he did his spark plug thing, and I think that's that.
He'll bring energy. He does have a really good ability on the dribble, I think.
Yep.
It's just, I just think I think he stood out a little bit because I think the team around him was kind of trying to figure things out. And I think his high energy kind of made you stand up. But I think you're going to see him. I think maybe he'll still get some starts right now that Edison's still trying to get back healthy. But your hope is maybe that Edison can kind of, with this team kind of building up around him, maybe we can have an attack that actually looks really good. So I'll be curious to see kind of when he gets back into the fold, sort of what happens with that.
Who I want to see is Jordi Reyna.
What's that?
I want to see Jordi Reyna.
We haven't seen him at all. Yeah. I'm wondering. We're starting to get to the summer, and I think if we see one or two things, if we see Jordi Reyna go, we see maybe Emil Assad. I mean, he's really just kind of faded into the background. I mean, he didn't even make an appearance in this game. Griffin Yao makes an appearance over him. I think
which is fantastic. I tweeted that he has exited witness protection and entered for 8 minutes of a game. I think that Yamil Assad posted. He did the classic international break, post pictures of him working out really hard to get back. I think he knows that he's not done well. I think he knows that also I think he notices the fans are noticing that he's not doing well. I don't think he wants to be washed out. So it will be interesting. Like you said, the games are going to start coming fast and close. You got a game this Wednesday after a game on Saturday, and Montreal did not play this weekend, so they're fully rested in.
How does that? I really want to know how that happens in this league, especially when we have to go in. If it were at home, I would understand it a little bit, but this is the league is doing some silly things to DC. This is the second time we've had to play a team midweek who got a break, or play them when they had a break. So I mean,
at least they're not playing at their own home stadium, so they're probably having a bit of a trouble. True. That's the only thing. The good thing here, they're playing a home game or an away game for Montreal at home in Fort Lauderdale. It's going to be like an empty stadium. They're going to have no home field advantage whatsoever.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's a fantastic element for DC United. It's a matter of, can they get up for it's 2020 again, and they're playing in front of cardboard cutouts of people.
It was really bizarre watching the Orlando Toronto game that was in Exploria Stadium, at Toronto's home game with absolutely no fans. I'm not even sure if they allow. I'm pretty sure they don't. They don't allow even an away swap of tickets, because that would just be ridiculous. But yeah. So other player I do want to mention who I don't think had the greatest game was Paul Arriola. And maybe I'll get some. I thought he was not as effective as he was. He was amazing in that last game against Miami, and I think maybe Inter Miami kind of keyed in on him a little bit and took him out and kind of took him out of the game. He was kind of a non-factor, I felt, for most of that game. I don't know. Did you feel the same watching it on TV? Or?
I did not register much from him, so maybe yes.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, I was watching 2 simultaneous games, so it's entirely possible that some things passed by, and Paul's lack of presence may have been one of those things.
Possibly. All right, anything? Oh, do we want to talk about? We can talk about Mark Ingram. We got to mention the awesomeness that was Mark Ingram, which I didn't get to witness because I was in the stands, but I did. I'm pretty sure I saw him leaving his sort of suite at halftime and walking. He kind of passed me, and when a football player walks past you kind of know. When
a football player is shorter than Dave Johnson, by the way. As they stood side by side, I was like, "Get him, Dave." So, yeah, that was great. So I'm sure if you're watching this, I think it's a very strong likelihood that you were either at the game, and maybe this will be news for you, or you were watching the game. But Mark Ingram, 1% minority owner of DC United, joined Dave and Devin in the booth for the start of the second half. Very much likely to do a 5 to 10 minute just sort of get to know you thing. And then it turned into, how about you stay the entire second half and be a joy and just be unbridled happiness, watching just shouting out things that were occurring. When the first red card happened, he yelled, "You can't do that." After a missed opportunity from 5 feet away by Nigel Roberto, he made a very loud yelling noise. He also, I think, posted today an edit somebody made of him in a football uniform that has DC United all over it. He's having a great time, guys. I think for him he's thinking 1% did not cost me that much, and I am getting joy out of this. No one's yelling at me. No one's telling me I suck. It's the best thing that he could get. So it was awesome. I know that Dave enjoyed it. I felt a little bad for Devin because for the first 25 minutes, it's he just put his microphone down and sat down. But then after that, it's you know what? I'm gonna ask questions to Mark to make this be a 3-man booth. I think he saw the light. He's like, oh shit, all right, how do we make this thing? Hey guys, let's all talk together. It was great. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good. It was fun. It was vibes. I think it was just all vibes. I think is the best way to describe that whole moment that we witnessed there. But very good to see. Cool to see that happen. I guess other than that in the game, John's got something he wants to show to the camera.
No, I'm not. I'm just fidgeting. Other than to tell you that we still have a small number of these upside down scarves available in a box off camera. Somebody bought one for Father's Day for their husband, which is great. That's Don, friend of the show. So if you'd like one, particularly as it's getting a little bit colder, which is not now, we still have 2 in Virginia. We still have 3 months of summer basically into October, but you're gonna want them eventually. So think about it.
I think next time we'll do the summer. You can get the summer scarves. I think might be a good. I tried wearing it for the game and I had to take it off at one point because I was like, it's a little
fashion.
Hot.
It's just fashion right now. It's either fashion or it's something you hang up at home. It's not something you. Somebody making fun of me. It will eventually get colder. It will not be hot forever. Is what I'm trying to say. So yes. I think that closes up the DC United game. But that was not the only team in action. Let's talk about Loudoun for 75 seconds. So Loudoun United was down 1-0 after 6 minutes against Hartford United, the infinite bogey team, the team they have played seemingly 300 times in their 2.5 seasons of play. That is not a correct number, but it's close to that. They conceded right away. They drew a penalty, I believe, in the first half. Still, Giovanni Bolivar scored another penalty. I think it's his 3rd goal in 5 games for them. That's great. Then they played the second half out. It was looking very much like the team was going to get a draw, which away to Hartford is valuable. Unfortunately, there was a weather problem. They had to stop the game. Apparently, Hartford moved all of the fans in the stadium behind the Loudoun goal, with like 2 minutes left to play. And then, of course, they score in stoppage time. They win 2-1. Loudoun gets nothing for all of their hard work, and they continue to be extremely last place in all of USL. I think that's all of my Loudoun information.
Yeah, and they're not having a good season. I mean, I think I will say, I think like I've said in the past, they're not getting blown out. I think last year they got blown out by Hartford like 5-1 or 5-2 or something like that. So I think they are at the very least putting something together that I think can resemble a team. I mean, you look at how they're playing. I mean, they've only given up. They have 12 goals against right now, which puts them kind of middle of the pack. They're just not scoring goals. They're near the bottom, second to last in their conference in goals scored. So I think that's sort of the biggest problem right now with this team is that they're doing a better job kind of keeping things close. They just don't quite have that ability to put the ball in the back of the net to break up points. So, I think Ryan Martin's doing the best he can. Of course, the other news might be they might be moving down in 2 years to Division 3, joining up the new MLS D3 league, which is just officially announced today. We'll see what happens with that. As a Kickers fan, I think there's a lot of differing opinions. The fact that independent teams are allowed to join, I don't know if we really can make many comments right now as to what it's going to be or, what impact it's going to have on USL. It's just going to be, we're going to have to see. I think we're going to have to see how many independent teams I think is going to be the biggest thing about this.
Yeah. And also too, before we close the book on Loudoun entirely, why not speak to our largest audience when I'm trying to get something done? If you are a Loudoun United fan and want to write about Loudoun United for RFKRefugees.com, get in contact with the show. We're looking for someone to help us do that. And then potentially also write some stuff about DC United and the Spirit. So this is me tweeting, but in the show. So that's that. The last game to touch base with here this weekend.
Yes.
A much more pleasant experience than the Loudoun finish, unfortunately. Washington Spirit draw 1-1 with Chicago Red Stars. Really sort of an interesting game. The first half was very the teams sort of neutralized each other. The things that were really to draw out of importance, Ashley Sanchez and Trinity Rodman are still so just dope. They're good. They're just if you look at combos with the highest XG in NWSL, they're number 2, behind. I'm trying to remember who it is with North Carolina that they're behind, but they're incredible. Trinity Rodman plays every game like she is a veteran star. She can dribble past anybody. She has confidence. She shoots. She's got the second most shots in NWSL. She does not care where she's at. She will fire away. That's really what it was going to look like if there was going to be an opportunity in the first half. That's where you thought it would be. Ashley Hatch comes off with a concussion, which is extremely unfortunate considering the season she was having so far. I don't know how long that'll be. I don't know what their history of concussion is. So I'll try to figure something out this week in media availability. But that was the real thing. She had an injury in like the 15th minute, and it took 10 more minutes for her to come off. She was evaluated on the side of the field. She continued play. She went off after she was, I guess, feeling bad. She basically sat down, and then that was that. So that's unfortunate that's the way that hopefully she had no issues from that. But the game didn't really open up into the second half. Chances started coming fast and furious the entire second half. Trinity Rodman, I don't have the minutes in front of me, but I think it was around the 85th minute. Trinity Rodman gets a ball over the top from Andy Sullivan, takes it off her chest, beats the U.S. women's national team starting keeper through the legs. The Spirit think they're going to steal 3 points on the road, and they probably should have. Unfortunately, a penalty gets called in the 91st minute, a ball off of Sam Staub's arm. She claimed it was her chest. I believe she maybe have thought that was the case, but it was very extremely clearly her arm, unfortunately. Morgan Gautreau, who is now nicknamed the Butcher, which is funny, but she scores the penalty in the 90-something-th minute in stoppage time, and they split the points. Based on sort of the way the game played out, seems like a pretty fair result. There were a few more chances in the second half, but overall, I think the team I think the team went out with a game plan and was able to accomplish it. Chicago's defense has gotten very good this season. They gave up 5 to Portland in the first week and have only conceded 2 goals the entire season, and now 3 with the goal for Broadman. So they really have battened down the hatches. The league continues to be close. If the Spirit continue to take points on the road and win their home games, they're good to go. They're not doing that right now. They're drawing at home also. They're winning away and drawing at home. Also, interesting point that this is the 3rd time this season that they have lost points when being ahead, and then also they conceded after. They've given up a 1-0 lead 3 times within 7 minutes of scoring the goal.
And I think that's starting to become a trend with this team, unfortunately. And that those are the things you kind of look at as what are the good teams. What do the elite teams in this league do? Even if they're not 100%, even if they're in a close game, they find a way to win. So, I mean, you look at that, that's, 6 points you've dropped, and that could potentially put you in first place right now with how close things are. Right now they are in 3rd, so they're certainly very much alive. But I think they're a team that is still kind of growing. I think they're still trying to figure out sort of who they are. So I think they're in a great place. I think we'll see this team, right now I would say they're a playoff team with how they look. But I think they got to keep it up, and we'll see how we'll see. I think that the interesting caveat, of course, is that the Olympics are this year, and the Olympics normally aren't this year. So what is that going to do as far as obviously they're probably going to potentially lose Emily Sonnet and Kelly O'Hara. What does that do to their team? How does that affect their team? Other teams are going to be even more hard hit. You're going to have Orlando without Chicago is going to be without, obviously their starting keeper. There are going to be a lot of teams that are going to be missing players. So I think that's going to be the more interesting thing to watch as we sort of get closer. So yeah. Also, we do want to mention a congratulations to Kumi Yokoyama, who just came out as trans. They have made the announcement, and best to them. For that, and that's awesome to see. It's awesome to see. It's awesome to see players more comfortable. And I think the NFL just had a player too that came out. So
yeah, check out the article in Japan Times, which is sort of the best article I've seen that sort of gets into the YouTube video that Kumi put out. So I think that if you're looking for a little bit more information about the thought process and the timing and everything else, check that out. I think it's a really good article. But yeah, congrats to them.
Yep, congrats to them. I think that's gonna do it for the show, guys. Thank you so much for listening. You guys are incredible. You guys are why we do this show. Twitter.com/RFK Refugees, Patreon.com/RFK Refugees, RFKRefugees.com. If
go there, bookmark that because I am writing articles, and y'all need to read them because I don't want to write articles into the void. That's not fun for me.
And hey, you know what? Let's put the call out. If you have something that you want to write, that you feel inspired to write about, either DC United, Washington Spirit, you want to put something together for the show, get in touch with us. It doesn't even have to mean we want we're looking for a Loudoun United writer, but we're open to other people jumping in if they want to produce, give us some stuff to write about. So get in touch with us, email, DM, Twitter DMs, however you want to get in touch with us. If you have something you want to write about, we're always looking for new people to join. So, again, thank you all so much for listening. We'll catch you guys, on Thursday. I guess we'll figure out
sometime this week.
Sometime this week. We'll probably do a review of Wednesday and everything.
And I imagine that we will do something as a pregame or something on Wednesday. So you'll see us. We're around.
We're around. All right. Thank you guys. And we will catch you guys on Thursday. Vamos.